I've never been.
I've never been to the Palace of Gold either.
I haven't either. Yeah.
Never been.
You haven't? That's
I think
Hare
I've
Krishna,
heard
right?
of it. Where is it?
What's that?
The Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Hare Krishnas.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like
What
15, 20 minutes
What
away.
is it?
It's like
You know
Hare
the
Krishna.
you know the Hare Krishnas. There'll be like the bald people in airports that like dance around and give you flowers.
Okay. I'm vaguely
It's
following.
like their temple, their place of life.
Gotcha.
But there was like
Gotcha.
some shady shit that like somebody got murdered up there or something. There was like,
Really?
I have the book at home, but all right. Ready?
Oh, I'm rolling.
Oh, okay.
All right, 10th Street Tavern, episode 20.
We're rocking.
All right, we're going.
Love it.
We have
Next
our
episode.
team member from behind the scenes, Jordan, in
That's
from back from episode 2.
Glad to be here. Glad to be. You guys have grown exponentially.
Oh, yeah.
Since episode 2.
I think
so
the last
it's
quote
been
was
awesome.
like, I'm excited to see what this looks like in a year from now.
I know. I
We're
was just watching
couple
it.
months in.
Yeah, I was just watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have been crushing it.
And Eric, welcome to the first time in here. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming.
it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
You guys are business partners with some exciting news for us that you wanted to come in and share with us. But first, how you been? How's Arizona treating
I'm
you?
good. Big difference between now. I went from 120 degrees. Now this is prime 75.
Yeah.
Everything's nice and cool. So no complaints from me.
And just for the record, it's not 75. It's like 40 outside. So I don't know.
It just,
I don't know if his temperature's internal scales off, but
75 in Arizona.
okay, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh, it feels like 25 here.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
the wind chill. I've not gotten used to it yet.
Yeah.
like last night was the first night. The lows got to around freezing.
yeah.
Around like 2 a.m. So I started up the wood burner this time of year.
Yeah, my wife loves it because she loves snow, so she likes the cold and everything.
Sure.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. I hate the cold. I just nope.
Okay, before we start into this, I want to give a shout out. I don't know if you watched the last episode at the Waterfront Hall from
Yeah.
the night day before. I want to give a shout out to DJ Spot, our last interview of the night, because it wasn't until halfway through our interview he wasn't on the lineup. So what happened was we were set up in a green room and we had our friend Tim McCormick go and just grab DJs from the lineup. We were going to interview and promote them.
Okay.
And I would just text him like, hey, next one up. So I don't know if Spot told Tim that he was on the lineup or just said, hey, I'm a DJ, and Tim brought him up, but he walked in this room, scarfed down an Avenue Eat sandwich, and looked at us and goes, are you guys into steam trains? He's like, I got something to promote. We're like, yeah, sit down. And then it was halfway through the interview. I'm like, this guy's not even on the lineup. He just told us the steam trains. So good job, Spot.
Yeah, so he's we got hopefully more followers in Cumberland, Maryland now. So
Yeah, Cumberland, Maryland. He took America's second largest steam train and turned it into a club with
he's
a bar
turning
and
into
restaurant.
a DJ event on the rails, but they said they got to watch because that way with the bass and everything, it literally doesn't affect the train on the track.
Really?
I was like, that would suck.
Yeah,
So he just was kind of in the crowd and
he
was
knew.
watching.
I think he knew some of the DJs, and like
Gotcha.
when we went to
Gotcha.
grab guests, he was like,
Yeah.
"This is my opportunity. I'm jumping on it."
Yeah, he just-
This is
yeah.
my moment I've been waiting for. I'm not going to pass
We
this
love
up.
Cold calling steam train.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
So, you kind of briefly mentioned what brings you in here today. If you want to share with our viewers something you're starting up with housing.
Sure. So, I'd say about 4 years ago, I started in real estate investing in Arizona. I was in the sub 2 community. It was led by Pace Morby. Just trying to get my feet wet, and then I always say through the grace of God and great mutual friends, I got introduced to Eric. And then so you kind of have that dating period of.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been somebody that I don't want to do business with somebody unless, I'm going to have them over for dinner. It's always been kind of like a more of an intimate thing. If I'm going to do business with you, it's somebody that, we're going to have a personal relationship with.
Yeah.
So, talked with Eric for a while.
Are you from the Valley?
I just moved here about 2 years ago. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Eric was in the sub 2 community, and we kind of talked back and forth, and when you kind of have a conversation with somebody and it's like, this dude is perfectly aligned
He's ready
with
to work.
like your why, and it's not all about the money, it's about helping and really leaving a positive impact and passing things down to kids, generational wealth. We were kind of perfectly on the same page with all that kind of stuff. So then, we started working together and doing deals. And I mean, he's been absolutely crushing it. That's why I say, we do this together. It's 95% him. I'm a super beneficial factor of his hustle and grind, and he's a great people person. So what we're doing now, and I can let Eric kind of go into the details of it, but essentially what we're doing is we're acquiring homes for, in my opinion, the specific reason we're starting a rent-to-own program.
Okay.
And with this rent-to-own program, we're trying to target people specifically that are in need of housing, that, whether they're in hard times or they kind of had a bad break, whether it's, a veteran, a single parent, somebody that's recovering from addiction, or, whatever it is, essentially trying to be the bank. And
without being the person just looking at numbers.
Exactly. Like, for example, maybe a house is $1,000 a month. If it's going to somebody super in need, we kind of have the power to say, because it's our house, maybe it's not 1,000. We'll cut you a break just to kind of get you back on your feet. And then with the rent to own program, they have that option of actually purchasing down the road to give people an opportunity to be homeowners that, normally with a bank, they may not qualify, for whatever red tape reasons. So that's what I'm really excited about, and especially being able to work with Eric. It's a grateful and an honor to be able to grind with him with it.
And with this housing economy, especially in this area, I could see where like a lot of people just giving up, just like the hope that they will own a house one day.
Yep.
Which I mean, I got to commend you for you guys going into this project. And the way the way housing market is right now, I mean, some people would be like, "You guys are nuts!" Like trying to get into something.
Sure. No,
like right now, where the disparity is between like mortgage rates and everything, the way the economy is. But that's huge. That's awesome, man.
Bill Gates was nuts when Microsoft happened. Elon was nuts with Tesla. Everybody's nuts until it works.
Okay, well,
100%.
Bill Gates is still nuts, but that's another show.
That's a whole nother topic that we don't want to get.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's you got to take that step, but it's. I mean, that's like I said. Kudos to you guys doing that. I mean, that's because so many people would be like, "Well, why don't we wait and see what No, you guys are doing it, and that's great.
So you want to go into detail about this?
Yeah.
How people can reach out if they are interested.
Yeah, actually, I don't have the phone number. I came a little unprepared.
I can edit it or anything in. Yeah.
So yeah, we originally were acquiring properties and we were going to build up our own portfolio. And the more I went and were talking to people in the valley and getting deals and acquiring houses, the more I was getting people who were saying, "Well, my tenants really wish they could buy the house, but they don't qualify. My tenants." Came and asked if they could buy it on a land contract, but like we didn't really feel comfortable with it. Right. So we ended up acquiring a lot of these properties, and we're still acquiring these properties. And it made sense for whatever reason these people, they want to have home ownership. They need to like have something that they can come home and say, "This is mine. This is what I'm proud of. This is why I grind every day and go work at a job I dislike," and like all of the things that kind of beat people down in the day. It's kind of catered to making sure that that's a dream that they can achieve.
Plus, I mean, it takes one bad landlord to be like, "I'm never doing this again."
For sure.
Yeah. So we were going to start kind of small. I acquired a property in the Shady Side that I was going to kind of just put it out there as a feeler to see what kind of response I would get in the area, because for every 3 people that say, "Yeah, that's a good idea," there's 500 haters that are going to yeah, you're an idiot. Don't do that. Like,
scammer.
Yeah, it's
fake profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a couple of those. Those were fun. So essentially, it started out, I just put a Facebook post up on a local Facebook group and said, hey, I'm looking to start this program. I want to try and make it achievable for people in the Valley to achieve home ownerships. We can work with you on your situation. We're flexible on money in, money out, like monthly payment. Like we can do a lot of different things to really help do it, as long as you're serious about the responsibilities it takes to be a homeowner.
Right.
Like we got to have the same give and take. And
Right.
Had, I want to say 97 comments on that. And then it got picked up by Channel 7 News out of Wheeling.
Nice. Okay.
They contacted me, wanted to do a news story about it. And I said, sure, not a problem. So I went down to the house that we were acquiring as our kind of our test pilot house that we were going to do with it. I did a 40-second interview in front of the house saying, this is what we're going to do. This is a phone number to call if you want to pre-register to see if you would qualify for this house in order to get the program off the ground. We pre-registered 137 people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And all over the Valley, from Mingo Junction to Barnesville.
Right.
And we were specifically looking at where they wanted to live at, type, how size of house, what their monthly income is, style of house. There's some older people that would just like to have, single level housing because they can't get upstairs.
Right.
And we basically categorized everybody in what they need and what they want. And as we're acquiring houses, we're contacting them, reaching out and saying, hey, we've got this here. You want to go look at it? Because ultimately they need to have a choice in it as well.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want to just say, this is the only one we got, take it or leave it.
Right.
Because, that's not fair for them. I mean,
right.
So the response we've got is a little bit overwhelming, actually.
Oh, I can imagine.
I didn't think we were going to get the reaction and the follow up that we got, but now that we have, it kind of opens up the door to why are we only doing it here? As we're getting these doors, prepared, we're getting people in, placing people in, hopefully they're forever homes and everything like that.
Right.
How do we scale this to be able to help more people in other areas that aren't doing this?
And plus, I mean, you're improving the property just by the idea itself. Because I know, like, when you're straight renting, there was a couple things that broke in the house, and it took about like 5 times where the landlord didn't respond to, like, I'm not fixing one more thing in this house until I get compensation. So you have somebody that looks as if this is their future house.
Exactly.
I want to put some love and care into it.
And on top of that, when we buy these houses, I have a crew of guys that go in and we fix everything up when we buy it. They're not getting run down anything.
Right, yeah.
They're getting properties that are essentially ready to go back on the market for resale. So they're getting really nice, really clean, solid properties for them to be able to come in and be proud of. So I think that's kind of the difference from what some people have tried to do in the past and just not have the quality really be there. They were just trying to get the dollars they can get off of it and move on. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Oh, I bet. Over 100 inquiries over one property. I can imagine once you start adding more and more.
Oh yeah.
So what's your like when you say you pre-register, like what's your qualifications to, I mean, do you still like do background check, a credit score? I mean, do you still look at that stuff? I mean, what do you have? What does somebody have to say, hey, yeah, this is going to work for me?
We do background checks, criminal background checks, and we still do credits pulls. But they're soft pulls. They're not going to go against your credit. And we're not looking at what your score is. We're looking at things that could make it dangerous for us to allow you to take the property over.
Yeah, you could, but I mean, you could see somebody, like you said, somebody went through a hard stretch maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but in 5 years, they've made every payment on time, but their credit score is still like 600. So, I mean, that's, like I said, now you can say, okay, we know this person's paying their bills, they're paying their car note, they're doing this, and they're throwing money down the drain just to rent. So
it's a who are you are right now,
right?
And who are you as a renter? It's not what hardship you experienced 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're not holding that against you.
Right.
Regardless of what happens, people change, the situation changes. So
that's
kind of why I've been passionate about it, because I know, like, when I first got my first house, I mean, all the red tape that you have to go through the mortgage. And, thankfully, I'm in a decent situation that kind of put it in a perspective. Like, imagine if it was somebody that was a single parent, had a bunch of kids, for whatever reason, going from one job to the next, maybe it's a good job, but maybe they hadn't had that job for, 2 years or 3 years that most mortgages want to see a W-2. So I think seeing that firsthand internally made me a little bit more passionate about doing this because, now Eric and I are in the decision of making that call, like, does somebody qualify for this or not?
And I've seen that firsthand where I had a friend of mine, when you go through college, as soon as you step foot on a campus, every credit card company in the world throws everything at you.
Right.
So, and I was one of those kids. Like I ran one up, took me forever to pay it off. I paid it off. I didn't, but still, like, he come out and he got a job after he graduated college, and he was making over 6-figure. So he was like, I want to buy a house. And went to the bank now, but they went back on his college credit apps because he had late payments and stuff like it. Now he had the W-2 for showing for 3 months, hey, this is what I'm making. This is what I'm pulling every 2 weeks. They were like, no, we need to see it for 2 years. Yeah, he's like, what do you
it's ridiculous.
But he basically had to rent someplace for a year.
It's such a robotic system.
Yeah.
Even sometimes when we acquire some, it's like, I understand the person on the other end. This is their job, and they have, a checklist that they have to do. But sometimes, like him and I talk to, and it's like, let's think outside the box a little bit. Let's not try to make this harder than it has to be. But I do understand when you go through that traditional, conventional mortgage, whether it's title, the lender, they do want to have all those boxes checked because at the end of the day, it's a CYA thing, and I get that. But I think, again, kind of going back to, if you put yourself in a position to be the decision maker, you kind of can die on that sort of, giving somebody that opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have gotten anywhere else.
And what's crazy is I didn't realize this till probably about, 8, 9, 10 years ago, that the United States is the only we're the only country that has a credit system. Like everybody else, you know what I mean? And and then they make it so ridiculous. Like you said, somebody that hit a hardship, like now it's like, well, now you have to have credit cards. Okay, I got credit cards. Well, you don't have anything on them.
Yep.
So I have to charge something, and then you got to pay, but don't pay it off too quick.
Sure.
And do this and do that, and it'll still take you like 2 years to get a score up, and you got to jump through all these hoops. And a lot of people don't know that you have to have a credit card. You can only use. They want you to have like $30,000 worth of available credit, but you can only spend. You should only have like 3,000 of that used, but make everything on time, and then it's so bizarre.
We have a lady that applied with us. Her and her husband were married for 15 years, had joint credit cards. He got into drugs, run all their credit cards up, maxed them all out. They ended up getting divorced, still counted against her.
Yep.
She did nothing wrong.
Right.
She has to take care of 2 kids. They had to sell the house in the divorce because they had to cover the debts and everything like that. What do? It takes her 3-4 years in order to get all of that fixed for her to be able to qualify to have another house.
And normally a person like that's looking forward to, income tax time. You get, a boost to their kids if it's just going to be away because of a decision her ex-husband made.
It's the system's severely flawed. So thank goodness that you guys. This is.
And what's nice about what you guys are doing, it's like the valley's small, so if you get an application, odds are you're going to figure out this person's a piece of garbage or not from other people.
You're going to know real quick. So that's a good thing about the Ohio Valley. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, for better or worse.
There's 6 degrees of separation between everybody, but in the Ohio Valley, there's 2 degrees.
I'm with you.
And then, like I said, the good thing is I know him. He knows everybody. So just from knowing Razor, I know everybody in the tri-state area.
Taking him around.
No, to be able to do this where I grew up, I could have tried to do this out in Arizona, but I think it would have been more of like a transactional thing. So between being able to do this, first and foremost with somebody like Eric, and then secondly being able to do it where I grew up, that's kind of like the why.
Yeah. Now, Eric, you said you just moved here. Where are you from originally?
Around Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
30 minutes away from Parkersburg.
So not too far away from the valley, but
no.
Okay.
Well, it's still the valley. It's just a different part of it.
Yeah. You're still
everything up and down the river. Yeah, everything up and down the river is called the valley. So.
That's it.
Right.
So
yeah.
So
that's cool.
It's funny. when and my dad's a veteran, so that's he was in Vietnam, so I think being able to help people that were in his situation coming back from overseas, that was kind of, the initial start of why I wanted to focus on that. So I would talk to veterans, VFWs and things like that. And it's kind of funny how things come full circle. The main VFW is down in Marietta,
right
around where Eric is from.
Okay.
So it's like we're able to help my area now.
Yeah.
And, as we go, I think we're going to steadily keep going down the river and end up in his area as well, in time. So I think it's cool.
And I can tell you firsthand, I know vets, I mean, guys get, men and women, they get screwed. They go away to deployments. You're there, you're thinking, I'm getting paid, I'm getting tax-free money, I'm getting everything. Sure. And meanwhile, wife or husband at home, same thing, spending everything up, and then as soon as they come back, they're like, "Oh, I'm leaving you," and they're literally stuck with nothing. And then, like, same way with the drug thing. Now they're responsible for all this credit that they weren't even in the country for, and it just, I know that, again, that's firsthand. I know that's happened to people. So the fact that you help vets too is fantastic. I'm kind of partial to that, though.
Yeah. I'm prayer service myself.
So, are you?
Yeah. So the fact that I can kind of contribute and make that an emphasis, a part of this program, really means a lot to me. And Jordan and I talked at length about this. And every one of these markets we're going to, that's going to be the first step that we take. As we're acquiring properties, we're reaching out to these veterans organizations and seeing how we can help them either be a part of the program or just use this program to help aid them in those areas as well.
Awesome.
So
that's
that's
thank you for your service.
Big cornerstone for what we're doing in this as well.
So how's the CPA podcast treating you?
It's good. It's fun. Good. It's fun. So we are, we're kind of just dabbling to see what works.
Yeah.
I look to you for inspiration. Like I've asked you questions, how do you do these certain things? So it's funny because we've already gotten like kind of like a red strike. Because
really?
I don't know if you've seen, but our senior CPA, zero filter.
Would be your boss?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nathan, zero filter whatsoever. And that's why we love him. And I forget even what we were talking about, but something came up, and his thing is like, just kind of says like a zinger at the very end.
Right, yeah.
And he said something along the lines of like, when in doubt, don't have white carpets like the Bidens.
Okay, I think I did see that.
And like we published it, and then like 2 days later,
he said, "Get white carpet like the Bidens, so nothing ever like stands out."
Like can't find the cocaine on the carpets or something. And we published it, and like 2 days later, we got the email from YouTube. It's like, "Yep, this one's coming down." Like,
wow.
Yeah. So that was our first kind of toe in the line, but I mean it's fun. The last one we were talking about what happens when you don't pay your taxes.
Right.
We all came in like prisoner striped shirts and stuff like that. So we're trying to make it fun, because realistically, how fun is it hearing about taxes?
Oh,
so we try to make it a little bit more enjoyable for the viewers. And
no, it's perfect. If you don't pay your taxes, then you can, you jump to the front of the line to become, a congressman or a senator. So it's,
it's a prerequisite.
Insider trading and don't pay your taxes, you're good, man.
Somebody that has a $100,000 salary, but you're worth $120 million. I don't really know how that works.
There's nothing shady there. Nothing to see here.
So but it's fun.
The clips that you guys put out for it are usually like good tips on like passive income and stuff. Mm-hmm. So for like our viewers, as a treat for listening to, something I can promo this. What would be a good tip for people in the Valley for like passive income, like a little trick that you've come across that you think would be relevant to this area, or one of the tips from your podcast?
Like I said, we're not in it for the money, but at the end of the day, owning rental properties, at the end of the day, we have a freaking all-star management company, Jordan Velasquez. She crushes it. So being able to kind of have a whole team, so it truly is passive, to where you're not the landlord and collecting rents and doing all this. I mean, that truly is passive income to not be hands-on. But I mean, it's kind of awkward saying this because I don't do it myself, and I never wanted to be one of those persons that's like, oh, you should do this, and I'm not doing it, and I'm not doing it yourself. I mean, having a social media brand, for like truly passive income.
Right.
I mean, I work with guys out in Arizona that 100,000, 200,000 followers. They get normal people's salaries just on like marketing influence to where when you talk about passive income, you may have been talking about something, for example, you had already planned on it. You could essentially get somebody on your podcast and you've built that brand to where somebody's paying you to be on your podcast that you needed somebody anyway.
Right.
So I think being able to leverage social media from like a passive income standpoint, it doesn't really require manual labor. It does require work on the back end, but
affiliate marketing.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So
I was going to actually message you before I went ahead and did it, but on one of the future podcasts, or even this one right now, I was going to make a post that said like, if you're a local business owner, go on Facebook right now and see how much it costs to like get a reach of maybe like 1,000 people extra. See that price and then get a hold of me so we can talk about our reach and like what we can do for like local businesses. Especially if I know you.
Sure. No, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because we've like you said, we've seen responses of people that have been on, and their numbers have grown, and
like more than ours too.
Yeah,
like,
more than ours. But I mean, but still, like I said, they come in, we talk to them, and then in turn they talk about us, and it's helping everybody out. Everybody that sits across, as we sit across the bar from each other.
I mentioned Michael from Our Outdoors. He messaged me a week after he was on the podcast, and he said, "Hey, I just wanted to know if there's a good way to tell if all these followers I'm getting are just fake bot accounts or if like we're actually seeing growth." I'm like, what I did was I clipped everything up for you and I put it to all the hunting hashtags, all the hunting communities and area, and now everybody that's watched that clip knows that you're the hunting guys, and now all these hunters are jumping on you.
And they do a fantastic job. If you guys haven't checked out Outward Outdoors, those guys they just released like same thing. They did a youth hunt this week, and we even told them, with the area, if you get a kid that and like their family can't afford to do the hunter safety course, we'd sponsor it. We'd pay for the kid to do it.
Sure.
And but yeah, that like I said, they're growing. Same thing. And we've had business owners. We've had other people that have Facebook pages, and their follows went up and stuff. So it's been great.
And what's nuts? It's only been a summer.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You came in, I think, April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this has been a blast. So
and Eric touched on it a little bit with kind of holding events. I know for the first 28, 27 years of my life, I didn't even know. I knew people were real estate investors, but you kind of always thought that it was like this thing that only a certain select group of people.
Yeah,
right.
And that's something else that I really do want to bring to the Valley is teaching kids in high school. Like, I think it's crazy that the two things I'm in now, taxes and real estate, arguably maybe one of the two most important things to kind of have an understanding of, are not even mentioned in high school and college, really, for that matter.
Like I said, definitely not in high school. I mean even probably like the basic stuff, like I know I'm dating myself, but like we still had home ec. And I know like they're like, I mean, and it sounds crazy, but they like, you how to balance a checkbook, how to do that, like real life skills.
Sure.
No, now we have to worry about, gender neutral bathrooms and, what hurts your feelings, and we can't do that instead, and just teach life skills. I mean,
I think our home ec was actually like baking things.
Yeah, it was.
Like at Ferry.
I mean, it was that, but I mean, it was like, life skills. And then same thing, like you don't have a carpentry shop, you don't have a machine shop, you don't have any of that like life skill stuff anymore in schools. And then if you, like I said, then absolutely, if you go to college, unless you major in that, we're not going to know anything about.
You might get economics as like something you have to pick up, unless you're in that.
Right.
That major, you're not going to do anything further than that.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm guilty of that myself. All I know about taxes is I go to TurboTax.
Sure.
It's because
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's designed that way.
Oh, it probably is. Absolutely.
Looking at it from our lens, it's almost like there's really no reason why that's not a general class that everybody takes, other than maybe it's just something that the general public isn't supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
it
too
sounds
easy. Hey,
it
you're
sounds
gonna make a
crazy.
paycheck.
Yeah.
We're gonna take some of your money, and then at the end of the year, you have to do all the paperwork and send it
Sure.
to us to see if we took enough of your money.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if we did, then we'll give you some back. But if you
Sure.
didn't, well, we want it now.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna add on taxes and late fees and more and more. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, it's a scam.
I can't stress enough being a business owner. That opens up Pandora's box of like just being able to be creative, have a good tax guy, have a good CPA, but being anything other than just straight W-2. If you're straight W-2, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
It is what it
Right.
is. And I think in 2018, they did away with pretty much any deduction that you could even have. Like I know teachers used to even get like a $300 deduction. They don't even get that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like they've totally bottlenecked it. So that's why I try to, even my clients that are straight W-2 that have, an interest of, I always use this as a example when I have my new clients. I had a woman that she did needlepoint, where she kind of makes the jars, but she's like knitting on top of like mason jars.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And she did it for fun. And so we created a business for her. LLC, did the EIN, did the whole deal. She sells them on Etsy, and it started as just a let's do this so you could write off your supplies.
Yeah.
That was literally all we had started. Yeah. I mean, she's crushing it on Etsy now. And I mean, she's buying vehicles over 6,000 pounds to offset. I mean, it's like it's turned into this whole business.
Well, then I want to talk to you because damn it, I want my G wagon.
He's getting us our G wagon.
That's it. Yeah, it'll work that.
Teach me the needlepoint first.
Right. But no, it's like I said, I can't stress enough. Like, start that business if you ever even contemplated it. Start that business, start that LLC, because then that at least gives you the opportunity to be creative. But yeah, if you're just W-2, there's nothing that you can do about it.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, it's the same thing because now even if you say on those apps that you want to do the deductions, they make it so red tape, like you said, it's not worth it. It's just like I'm not.
Well, that's what gets people in trouble because I have not done it on TurboTax, but I've talked to people and they have a W-2, and from my understanding, there's spots to write things off. I mean, in my mind, from the back end, that's like incentivizing people to get audited.
Right.
Because if you're just W-2, but you're giving people a chance to write off their cell phone, internet, why wouldn't they? If the option's there, the IRS looks at that and they're like, well, this is just W-2, but they're giving expenses. So this is an unqualified tax return. Now you open up the doors to be audited, to be reviewed, when in all reality, if that wasn't even an option to write those things off, people wouldn't even have put that on there.
Right.
So I that's why I said I not to get deep in the weeds of conspiracy, but I think it's kind of all laid out that way. What $2 trillion was injected into this economy. They got to figure out a way to get it back.
Right. But like you said, as far as classes, Eric, you said when's your next seminar?
I believe it's going to be next Thursday. I try to do it the last Thursday of every month.
Okay.
I believe our next class is going to be on subject to agreements, which are awesome.
And where do you hold those at?
I actually own a building on Main Street in Bridgeport.
Okay.
So I have a big wide open space. It's like 5,000 square foot, and I already got chairs and everything set up.
Perfect.
I kind of use as my classroom.
Nice.
Got a marker board and everything. So people can come in totally free. Anybody that wants to come.
The fact that it's free, I mean, his generosity of giving that information, another reason why, I'm super appreciative to work with him. But I mean, that info is invaluable. And to do it for free is just, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want people to know how to do this. I didn't come from a very prosperous upbringing. Like my parents worked 2 jobs apiece with 6 kids. Like we grew up very, very, very low on the financial totem pole. And I just got into real estate a year and a half ago. June of last year is when I got into it.
Excellent.
And from June of last year to the end of this year, will be 18 months, and we'll have over probably almost 70 doors in 18 months through creative financing, through creative measures, and being able to scale and grow. Yeah. And it doesn't take much to get yourself to a point to where you have financial freedoms. You know, it doesn't take 100 or 200 or 300 properties that create that.
Yeah.
I know people that have 10 apartments that they rent out, and they have enough money to live off of that they don't have to worry. They can take any vacation they want. They can have flexibility and freedom. It doesn't matter about inflation because they have that substitute that kind of props them up to be able to move forward and scale. And anybody can do it. It's not a secret society that, you know, tries to hold people away. I'm happy to teach anybody any of this stuff. If they want to come to the seminars, sit down. I'll take time after the fact, answer any questions. It's typically about a half hour, 45-minute class, and then we do about an hour of Q&A and networking. There's a lot of people come that are already investors. There are contractors that are coming to learn how this stuff works because they can start buying a property after they fix up 2 properties and kind of grow that independent wealth. It's a really, really good platform for you to come in and learn something that could absolutely change your life in a very short amount of time, completely free.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Love it.
Tim will make the drive down. We gotta get a hold of Tim.
Yeah.
His famous social media brother-in-law. He's always talking about getting some rental properties.
That's it. That's his goal was to, you know, he said his first house he wants to buy is a duplex.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're definitely going to send him your way because he'll.
And there truly is, I mean, so many strategies. One thing that Pace always said was the hardest thing about real estate is there are so many different ways to make money on it. And it's like, do you hone in on just one and, you know, triple down on it? Or do you kind of, you know, get some from here, get some from this strategy? So I mean, there really is a multitude of different ways to go about it. It's just, I've always felt like it's a take action thing. At the end of the day, it's, you know, nothing happens unless you do.
Move forward.
Yeah.
No matter what you choose to do, you got to move forward.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, I want to put a ribbon on this one.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, I appreciate the time.
Thank you for doing this in our area as opposed to your area. I mean, there's going to be so many people appreciative of this.
But listen, I'm not, if you want us to come to Phoenix to do a podcast, I'm just saying.
Like I said,
if you can set it up to get us out there, especially,
it's a write-off.
How about this? Let's do this. Let's set it up for next May, like around the 7th.
Yep.
And we can do a podcast because that's where the Stones are playing.
Okay.
Their last tour in Phoenix on May the 7th.
I like where you're going with this.
I'm just saying, maybe we can rub elbows here or something. We can do a 10-string tavern from the Stones concert.
Oh, I like Phoenix. It. Look at this. Look at those wheels turning.
I'm just saying.
Arizona in May. That's only what, 110, 115 outside?
Yeah, we're definitely over 100. Yeah, we between 100 and 110. Yeah, we don't start hitting the 115 until we get to June, July.
You said your prior service. Was you in the desert?
No.
Oh.
Thankfully, I got hurt before I got that far.
Listen, I've been in the desert in full IBA. I'll take Phoenix at a Stones concert. I don't care if it's 120 degrees. I'll take that every time.
It gets intense for a while.
If anybody is just listening on like Apple and Spotify and want to find out more about this, we'll have your information all edited in. We'll put it so you can figure out how to get a hold of these guys.
links in the description and stuff. Will absolutely
appreciate it.
Love it.
Yeah. And like I said, for veteran to veteran, like if there's anything that you need I'd be more than happy to help you with veterans. So I'm 100% on board. So
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.